Kid, life has a cruel sense of humor, a twisted joke it's been perfecting for centuries. When you're young, it leans in close, whispering sweet lies in your ear. Be kind. Play fair. Seek their approval, and they'll embrace you. But here's the ugly truth. It's all a facade, a beautiful, glittering illusion designed to keep you weak. The world doesn't admire the desperate. It has no mercy for those who break themselves into shards, crawling on bleeding knees, just to hear the hollow echo of applause. No, it doesn't respect you, it uses you. Sure, they'll wear smiles like masks, pretending to appreciate you, but behind those grins, they're laughing, sneering, reveling in your self-inflicted misery. The moment you show them you're willing to sacrifice your soul for their approval, you become their prey, a pawn in a game you didn't even know you were playing. Need their approval? The moment you crave it, you hand them the keys to your soul, no ransom, no conditions. You've felt it, haven't you? That gnawing emptiness deep inside, like a black hole devouring every shred of your worth. You tell yourself, if I try harder, they'll notice me. If I become better, they'll finally love me. But no matter how hard you grind yourself into the dirt, no matter how many hoops you jump through like a circus act, they never really see you, do they? They don't care about your pain, your struggles, or the scars you wear like medals. You're nothing more than a shadow in the crowd, another puppet dangling from strings you didn't even know they tied. And here's the real kicker, kid, the punchline that'll gut you if you let it. They'll only respect you when you stop giving a damn, when their opinions cease to matter. You think respect comes from being liked? From being loved? Wrong. Respect isn't born in the light of their approval. It's forged in the shadows, where you no longer beg for their acceptance, but demand your own. It etches itself into your soul when you choose to stand alone, unflinching, unyielding. When you decide their words, their smirks, their judgment are nothing but whispers in the wind. That's when you begin to see the truth. Their validation was never the prize, it was the change. Let me give you something real, something raw. The moment you stop chasing their applause, the second you stop kneeling before their fragile opinions, you become a force to be reckoned with. That's the moment you become dangerous. Because there's nothing that terrifies them more than someone who doesn't need them. More than anything, they fear someone who doesn't need them. Someone who's untouchable, untamed. That's what shakes their foundation. You see, people are cowards, all of them. They hide behind their brittle egos, their hollow compliments, and their painted-on smiles. They cling to these lies because it's all they have. But when they face someone who doesn't play by their rules, who doesn't bow to their game, it sends a shiver down their spine. They can't comprehend it. Suddenly the power shifts and they're the one scrambling. You're the one holding the cards now, and nothing terrifies them more than losing control. But let's not sugarcoat it. It's not easy, is it? Cutting those strings, walking away from the hunger to be seen, to be loved, to be enough. It feels like ripping apart something buried deep in your chest, doesn't it? It's like tearing out a piece of your own heart, raw, brutal, excruciating. But it's the kind of pain that saves you, because as long as you're chasing their approval, you'll never claim your own worth. You'll stay trapped, a prisoner in a cage they built with their smiles, their expectations, their lies. I know what that cage feels like. I've been there, staring into the mirror, seeing nothing but fractures, nothing but the shadow of who you once were. Their laughter, their sneers, they don't just echo in your mind, they burn themselves into your skin. A brand of shame you never asked for. But I also know what it feels like to break free. To stand tall, shattered but unbowed, and meet their gaze without flinching. To say the words that will make their blood run cold, I don't need you. Oh, they'll despise you for it. They'll rage and twist the knife any way they can, but deep down, They'll fear you, because freedom terrifies those who thrive on control. They'll call you selfish, arrogant, ungrateful. They'll throw every label they can find, hoping one will stick, hoping to drag you back down to the place they think you belong. But here's the thing, their words will lose their power. They'll be nothing more than static in the background, because you'll know the truth, their respect was never worth the chains that came with it. And here's the twist, the real punchline in this cruel comedy. The moment you stop needing their approval, the moment their opinions stop defining you, something shifts. Suddenly they see you differently. The whispers turn to stares, the sneers to silence. Respect takes root where there was once dismissal. And even more deliciously, they begin to fear you, because now they can't control you. And control, that's the currency they've always relied on, the one thing they can't bear to lose. Don't mistake their respect for love, it's not. It's fear, wrapped in a pretty mask, pretending to be admiration. And that's perfectly fine, because here's the truth, you don't need their love. You don't need their validation. All you need is you. Your strength. Your fire. Your refusal to be anything less than unstoppable. That's your foundation, your weapon, your armor. So here's my advice. Kids, stop apologizing for who you are. Stop folding yourself to fit into their neat little boxes, suffocating your soul for their comfort. Stop waiting for their approval like a dog begging for scraps from a table that was never meant for you. Burn their expectations to ash. Watch the flames consume the lies they fed you. And from those embers, build something raw, something real, something that's yours. But something untamed, something they can't touch, can't break. Because here's the truth, they'll only respect you when you no longer crave their approval. And by the time that happens, you'll see it for what it always was, a worthless illusion. The Joker pauses, his eyes alight with a fire that seems to pierce the soul. His voice drops to a low whisper, slicing through the silence like a blade poised to strike. You have a choice, kid. Stay in their cage, let it shrink you, suffocate you, or burn it to the ground. Stay small or rise. Keep begging for scraps at their table, or start taking what's yours. The world's watching, waiting to see what you'll do. Approval, that word, that filthy, rotting word, it's nothing but a leash. And the only thing worse than wearing it is choosing to keep it on. Approval, it's a poison, more deadly than any bullet, more devastating than any blade. And you've let it seep into your veins, let it dictate your every move like a puppet, waiting, hoping for someone else to pull the strings. Let me ask you something, kid. When did their opinions become your gospel? When did you decide their judgment outweighed your own? Was it the first time they ignored you? The first time they laughed in your face? Or was it that moment, the one where you stared into the mirror and hated what looked back? Let me paint it for you, clear as blood on snow. Every time you bow to their approval, every time you mold yourself to fit their expectations, you give away a piece of yourself, a sliver of your soul, chipped away and placed in their hands. Every time you chase their approval, you give them another piece of yourself, a shard of your soul, your pride, your fire. And the most twisted part, they don't even notice. They don't care. They just take and take, leaving you hollow, stripped bare, a shadow of the person you were meant to be. But here's the punchline. Kid, the cruelest joke of all. They never respect what comes cheap, what they can take without effort. No, people only respect what's out of their reach, what they can't touch, what refuses to break. Ever wonder why the ones who walk alone, the ones who couldn't care less about the crowd, are the ones who command attention? It's because they've cracked the code. They've figured it out. They realize something most never do. Needing someone else's validation is the quickest way to disappear, to fade into nothing. You want to be seen? Then stop hiding behind their approval. Stop folding yourself to fit into the cramped, suffocating space of their narrow little minds. You want to matter? Then stop letting them decide your worth. Because here's the truth, the brutal, unvarnished truth: they don't get to define you. They never did. You do. But don't kid yourself into thinking this is easy. Oh no, kid, breaking free isn't some clean, triumphant moment. It's brutal. It's going to rip through you like a storm, tearing apart everything you thought you needed. You'll lose people, friends, family, people you swore would stand by you forever. You'll lose people you thought would stand in your corner forever. And it'll feel like dying. Like ripping out a piece of your heart with your own hands. But what's the alternative? Staying small? Staying silent? Letting them trample over your soul for the rest of your life? No, not you. Not anymore. You've been through too much, haven't you? I can see it in your eyes, the weight of it all. The pain. The betrayal. The endless nights staring at the ceiling, drowning in the questions that cut the deepest. Why am I never enough? Why don't they see me? No matter how hard I try, why do they always look right past me? Let me tell you something, kid, it's not because you're not enough, it's because they're blind. Blind to your strength, your potential, your fire. That's not your failure, that's their loss. But now you've got a choice to make. Are you going to keep wasting your life chasing people who will never see you for what you are? Are you going to keep bleeding yourself dry for their hollow approval? Or are you going to rise? Stand tall. Look them dead in the eye and say, I don't need you. Because here's the truth, the moment you stop giving a damn, the moment you let go of their grip, is the moment you'll find something far more valuable yourself. Your power. Your freedom. You think freedom comes from being liked, from being accepted? Wrong. Freedom isn't found in their approval, it's found in the moment you let go. When you walk away. When you realize their opinions are as worthless as the air they waste. Freedom comes when you stare into the mirror and say, I'm enough, just as I am. No edits. No apologies. But don't fool yourself into thinking they'll let you go without a fight. Oh no, kid. The moment you stop needing them, the moment you break their chains, they'll come for you. They'll claw and drag and scream, desperate to pull you back down, to remind you of the place they think you belong. They'll call you selfish, arrogant, ungrateful. They'll throw every insult they can think of trying to break you. But here's what you'll do. You'll laugh. You'll laugh because you'll finally know the truth. You'll see their words for what they are, nothing but weapons of the weak. Their hatred? It's fear disguised in rage. Fear of your strength. Fear of your freedom. Fear of losing the control they once held over you. And here's the best part, when they see they can't break you. That's when the tables flip. That's when they start to respect you. They'll respect you not because they want to, but because they have to. Because deep down they know you're untouchable, unstoppable. But don't let their respect fool you, it's not real. It's not real. It's not love. It's fear. And fear is a weapon. It's the leash they used to keep you chained, but now it's the leash you hold around their necks. So what's it going to be, kid? Are you going to keep living for them? Keep shrinking? Keep begging for their approval? Or are you going to start living for yourself? Are you going to keep waiting for them to lift you up? Or are you going to take back what's always been yours, your life, your power, your freedom? Your power. Listen to me, kid. This is your moment. your chance to break free, to burn their expectations to the ground and rise from the ashes. But it's not going to happen if you keep playing by their rules. You've got to play your own game, set your own rules, live by your own code.